when you have to repeatedly say, I'm not being a dick, it often means you're being a dick. Mike, appropriately enough, is going to talk to us a bit more on today's not so critical update.
Wait a minute. I don't know. How did that happen? I'm not sure. That was all right. Well, whatever.
Sorry.
Yeah, Kaseya bought Dado recently, and they've been starting to merge the companies together. And there's been some culture clash. Dado employees have not been super happy with the way the benefits have been handled, the way the company.
Dado.
Am I saying it wrong? Dado.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, Dado. Wow. Is it like Play-Doh? Like Dado?
God.
Dates like the what?
What's your source for this? How do you know? Dado.
Because Dado. It's two T's.
No, you're right. I know you're right. You're right. Dado.
There are so many companies I have never actually said out loud. I've come across. They're really familiar to me that I've never. Yeah. I know their logos, I know their branding, I know the kind of. But I've never actually heard anybody say their name.
Well, so this is more
Go on. Sorry.
This is more inexcusable because I actually was an MSP for like 10 years, and I'm very familiar with Dado. Saw them at trade shows.
So every time you spoke to like a sales rep, they'd be like, "Hey, it's Dave from Dado." You'd be like, "Oh, Dado, love you guys. Really cool backup solution."
I don't know. That was like 10 years ago. Who knows?
Okay. All right.
What are we talking about?
Back to the dick. Back to the CEO.
Yeah, let's talk about Kaseya.
Yeah.
So, by the way, I do apologize, Mike. You don't ever say that. And
look, I'm not a dick. Why do people keep saying that, Peter?
I mean,
I use that phrase
in text.
How many times do I have to tell you?
When you're texting Mike, he's such a dick, but like in person, it's like so sweet.
Because I answer the question. You're like, "Hey, do you want to do this?"
Like,
no. So I say no.
So you're like, but you can't capitalize the N and then say "oh" and then punctuation mark. Like, what message are you trying to send?
I can't write like a normal person.
No, that's not how you talk. Like, if you're like, "Hey, do you want to do that?" I'll be like, "I don't think so." But no capitalization, completely wrong, all incorrect. Like, smiley face.
So for anybody who's watching, this is a conversation that we had on Discord earlier, where John was like, "Mike always seems like he's upset with me on text." And
so he asked me a question, I said no, and then you're both like, "Why is Mike upset?" I'm like, I just said no.
Why are you such a dick all the time? Like,
why are you being such a dick, Mike?
Look, I'm gonna say it for the last time. I am not a dick.
All right, so now that we've gotten that out of the way, what's up with the CEO? Why is Kaseya's overlord so bad?
He is such a dick, seriously.
True.
I read this.
I don't think there's any question about that. And Kaseya's an interesting company because like they were the industry leader in remote maintenance and management forever. Like if you were an MSP 10, 15 years ago, like that was who you were going to use.
Yeah.
They were big in managed services. They were also big though in like managing corporate networks. Not all of their clients were MSPs. Anybody who wanted automation on a large network would use Kaseya. We did one of our early stories, I think, was about Kaseya getting breached, and the way they handled that was like abysmal. It went on for weeks. Like the communication was terrible. They kept downplaying the impact. So
there's no communication at all at the beginning.
Yeah, none at all. So this story maybe isn't too terribly surprising, but they bought Dado, and they were having a town hall, and the comment they made from the town about the conversation is just that like anybody who had any of the Dado employees who had doubt about the merger, like all doubt was removed. Huge cultural differences.
It was fascinating. So they did this town hall. There were some new people getting hired, and they wanted to have like, hey, welcome to the company. And they invited all the Dato USA employees to like be part of it. And there was a couple of people who were like, hey, so we hear that now that we've been acquired, our benefits packages might be changing in like at the end of the year. So can you tell us anything about that? And he's like, what the fuck, guys? Lowe, listen, we don't talk about the packages. Listen, I'm not being a dick here, but like this isn't the kind of thing that everything gets reset every year for every company. So what? And they're like, okay, but does that mean that we're going to lose our benefits packages? And he's like, listen, I'm not being a dick here, but I just don't think that this is the kind of question that, like, he just really didn't want to answer it. And then afterwards, he did this post-thing interview where he was like, oh, yeah, it's like, I didn't want to shy away and just say, talk to your HR guy. I answered the question not like a shitbag. Like, And it's just Datto employees who are really proud of their culture and really, like, love the company they were working for, worried about it changing. And he did absolutely nothing to reassure them whatsoever. He just kind of was a dick. I'm sorry. I don't ever want to get into it, to say it.
He was not a dick. We were very clear, not a dick. One example they say in the article is that Datto employees had a resource group aimed at supporting marginalized populations. And did I say it again? Datto. Kaseya came out and said, like, no, we don't take a stand on anything like this. So we're done with that.
Yeah, that's true. Because they had all these organizations in Datto that were like helping out marginalized groups, and they were really proactive about it. And yeah, although he did say again in that interview afterwards, oh, well, that's just how we're doing it now. It's not like things might not change, which is a totally different answer.
I remember when Datto was like this, the young kid on the block. I remember when Datto was the young kid on the block. They pretty much only offered like a backup solution. It was like this backup box. I forget exactly what the device was called, but it had a fun name, and it ran really well. It was a really good. No, it's pronounced backup.
Baku.
Poor Mike. So
sorry, it's okay, Jon. Go ahead.
It's like, then they kept expanding into different fields that the MSP needed, right? Like networking, what else? Like, I think some security, like devices, like IDS and IPF stuff. Like, what are they called? What is it? Whatever. My point is, Datto kind of sucks now. If you go look on RMSP, the subreddit,
before being bought by Kaseya.
Before being bought by Kaseya.
Or as some people say, it's like Kaseya.
It's actually Kaseya. So now that Kaseya sounds like a Russian name. So it's like two shit companies have joined forces to become the big shitty company. And not saying that Kaseya wasn't ass before. It's just like they acquired a shit company now, and now they're just going to be even more shit. It's, I guess, funny to me in a way. Like, I don't think there were really any good tools left for.
Is that true about Datto though? I mean, did they? Because it seemed like from the interview that they were actually that the employees were really proud to work for that. I mean,
I bet they were. How much either of them? I just, like I could see on RMSP people constantly complaining about Datto. I could see people constantly complaining about Kaseya too, and ConnectWise, and all of these different brands that MSPs love and hate, I guess. So I don't know. It's an interesting acquisition. It's fun for us to laugh at this guy. But maybe answer the question next time when you have a open Q&A town hall meeting. I don't know. Just a thought.
The other thing was that it was shared to all 2,000 employees afterwards. Like, the recording of this thing was like sent out to everybody. It
sounds like zero self-awareness from this guy.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug, man.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. It feels like I had this. I was envisioning this situation in my head where, like, the I don't know what the CEO's guy's name is, but his advisors or his minions or the people saying saying, listen, you shouldn't really handle it like that. I'm not sure we should send this out to everybody. Perhaps you should go a bit, go a bit easier, like a bit more considerate. And him just going, no, what the fuck? No, I'll say what the fuck I like. I'll say what I like. I'm a straight shooter. I don't fuck around, man. I'm not shit. I'm not being a dick about this. I'm not being a dick. But like, seriously, this just needs to be said. That's what I've got to say. I'm not fucking around. I'm not being a dick. It's just really,
100%. It's like Silicon Valley. It is like Silicon Valley's TV show. Like, where it doesn't make sense. Like, it doesn't add up how this is, because Silicon Valley nailed it. They hit it way too on the nose in terms of realism. Everything else in the show was kind of like whatever. All of their technology was mostly fake, but the way they portrayed the personalities of this tech culture and the tech world was so spot on. It was scary.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what this guy sounds like.
The weird thing about Silicon Valley, it's one of those shows where they were like, okay, let's make this satire. It's a slight parody. So they've taken real life personalities and they pushed it a little bit.
Yeah.
And then a couple of years later, those people actually turn out to be real, even though they were not intended to be real personalities. They're like,
and it's not based on them, right? Like this guy just took the role. And of like Gavin Belson, the head CEO of Hulu or whatever they were called, Hulu. I forget. Yeah. And like, dude, you can't act like this. Like it's like if you've ever seen Entourage, there's a character, one of them like side main-ish characters. His name is Ari Gold.
Oh yeah.
He's this like super hyped. I think he's a talent manager. And it's just like that. Like there are actually people like Ari out there in Hollywood, just like there's people like this guy. Clearly. So just found it a little bit funny. We'll see. I imagine it won't be the last that we hear about Kaseya's not a dick CEO.